Well, good morning and welcome to the morning edition here at Daryllorette Cafe. I'm your host, Darryllorette. Well, like I do every day, I just came from the kitchen, just fixed myself a big bowl of oatmeal with 2 chopped bananas and a cup of lemon tea. And hungry as usual because I haven't eaten since supper last night, so I'm going to have my breakfast now. If you care to join me, you are more than welcome. Well, I'm feeling a bit better today, a little more recovered, you might say, from Friday. That all rhymes. Jesus, I should be a rapper. It's called me vanilla iced tea. White chocolate. I'm the white guy playing the black guy, playing the white guy, playing the black guy. Well, that was the first time I worked on a television show as an actor apprentice, a member of ACTRA, which is the Actors Union here in Ontario. It's the first time I worked on a television show. Prior to that, I only worked on 2 commercials, 2 national commercials. It's the first time I worked on a television show as an actor apprentice. So it's a first. And I must say the perks are much better. The perks are much better as an actor apprentice. Because the last time I worked on a non-union television show was like February 2006. I worked on Blueprint for Disaster, playing Dr. Joseph Mengele. Oh man, I can't even remember the character name. It's on my resume somewhere. I was playing a civil engineer. He was civil. He was civilized. A civilized engineer. A civil engineer. A civil. One of those guys that works for your city, I guess. Oh my. Well, I wouldn't want to tell you about the episode. You might want to watch it. It's on the Discovery Channel. Second season. It's all about where did it take place? Puerto Rico? No, someplace down south there. San Jose? We had this building. He had a gas leak from some restaurant or something like that. And he had a bad air conditioner that was a little, was setting off sparks, and someone turned it on, and the gas was leaking in the basement of the building, and the whole building blew up, and there was guys down in the basement, and the whole building fell on top of everybody in the building and down in the basement. So I was an engineer who was hired to try to solve or try to figure out what happened, whether it was a gas explosion, whether it was like a gas from propane, or whether it was natural gas from the sewer. So I determined my detective reasoning deductibility skills came to the conclusion that it was not natural gas from the sewer, but it was actual gas from a restaurant up the street that was running. It was leaking and running underneath the sidewalk and leaking into the basement. And the guy who owned a store was complaining about it, the smell of gas, and he said, you know, that's exactly what he said. And he wound up dying with his father in the basement when the building fell on top of him. Oy vey. That was an unlucky day for them. Yep. Oh, I got oatmeal on me. That was a spoiler alert. That was on, like, when did I see that? I watched that myself, like, back in that same year that it came out, I think. Or that I worked on it. But it was like one scene, they shot of me, one scene of me sitting at a desk with one of those, like, architect desks where, like, you know, they slant upwards and they're not flat, and it's not a flat desk, it's like something you maybe draw on, like, you know, what those painters use, or you know what I'm talking about. I'm sitting at my desk and I got you know, I'm trying to figure out things, try to figure out what happened. That's what I'm trying to do. Sherlock Holmes. Or maybe Dr. Watson. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. They were on the case. I feel like I'm still processing the whole experience of Friday. It's still like, it feels like a dream almost now. I'm thinking, wow, wasn't that an interesting dream? I dreamt I worked on this TV show that I never even heard of before. I recently heard someone say on, I think it was on some television show, that dreaming was just another way of yourself, your mind or whatever, just another way your mind thinks. And I thought, well, you know, that makes sense. Instead of trying to figure out all this mumbo jumbo about, gee, what does that dream mean? It's like, hey, I'm just sleeping and I'm thinking in my sleep. You know, it's like, it makes a lot more sense, and it's like the keep it simple, stupid principle. You know, it actually works for me. You know, it's just another way of thinking. Dreaming is just another way of thinking. Until somebody tells me something else, or I learn something else that makes more sense than that, then dreaming from now on will be just another way of thinking. So it's like you dream, right? Oh, you know, you have a dream. It's like, oh, I have a dream. I want to be famous one day. That's your dream. You know, that's just another way of thinking. Okay. I'm not even eating fast, and I'm giving myself gas. Well, yesterday I just spent the whole day convalescent pretty much. I did as much as I could on the internet, and then at about 5 o'clock I watched Smallville, because I didn't watch it Friday night because I was working Friday night. Actually, by the time that came on at 8 o'clock, I would have been, I was wrapped at 7:30, so I was on my way home shortly after that. Took me from 7:30. I got wrapped at 7:30. I was home at 10 o'clock. I think I mentioned that yesterday. So it took me surprisingly not much time to get home. It took me more time to get there because I didn't know where I was or how to get there. All I did when I left was I jumped, called a cab, take me to the subway station, and from the subway station I knew where to go. Like from where I was to the subway station, I didn't know how to get there, so I just jumped in a cab. It was just I think I wound up spending about $60 on transportation. Now you think about it, I'm traveling like probably 100 kilometers. Given, I mean, even from where I was downtown in Toronto to get way over in the East End where I had to go, it was like, God, it must have been a good, I don't know, 10 kilometers or something like that. But I think I probably had to travel just one way, like from Hamilton to Toronto is about 80 kilometers, I think. So round trip, I spent about $60 on transportation. That's not really that bad when you're considering you're traveling about 200 kilometers. If I had a car, it would cost me more because then I would have to pay for the gas. I would have to find some place to park, and I don't even want to think about that. Actually, they had some place to park your car if you did have a car, and then they would shuttle you to the set. But I didn't have a car, so anyway, it looks like we're running out of time again. So I'm going to finish my oatmeal here and get ready to start another day, and I'll get back to you the next time. Next time probably being tomorrow. So until then, this is daryllorette here at daryllorette Cafe, wishing you a good Sunday. Now don't forget to go to church today, and why don't you join the choir or something like that. Alright, we'll see you next time.